Continue.
This is the only line I know.
All right. Good morning, ignorant millennials. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm your host, Kat, right here, joined by my co-host.
Bafana, welcome ignorant millennials. Ladies, welcome to our latest and freshest episode. Guys, please like and subscribe to this current video. Go back to all the past videos that we've been putting out for you. Hope you've been liking it. Ignorant Millennials is a wave. Today we are joined by Lesedi.
Yes.
Lesedi, how are you? Welcome to our show for the very first time.
I'm tired, but I'm good. Thank you for having me for the first time. I watch your show, so I feel like I've been part of it since like the beginning.
Is it?
Yeah.
Day one fan.
Day
Yeah,
one.
I'm the one there. I'm like, you're lying.
What was your favorite?
Bro code. It was bro code and situationships.
And situationships. A lot of stuff was said in situationships.
Yeah,
Go check that out.
needs like a part 3 or something.
You guys like these different parts.
No,
The
but
part
like for
3,
real.
the separate parts are for our platform to engage with
Okay.
us. That's where we want it to be.
Okay.
So
Okay.
even after this show, the part 2 is where you guys are engaging with us, social media, continue this in your homes.
I genuinely think there should be an episode with all the bro code people, then the situationship, and maybe other girls, and you just iron it out because wow.
All of our shows invoke that. If people want like next part, which is good.
But I
So,
think it's nice when you have like the girl's perspective and guy's perspective, because it's very rare. It's either only one-sided, but yeah.
I mean, let's let the people know who Lesedi is, right?
Okay.
Can you just please intro?
Yeah.
In short,
who's Lesedi?
What were you doing this weekend?
what was I doing this weekend? I'm a maid of honor, so I was doing maid of honor things. Yes. Not a bachelorette party. We're planning a bachelorette party, but hey, I'm a Bailey. Who am I? Lesedi, developer, work at a financial service. I'm a photographer by night or by weekend. Yes.
A lot of side hustles.
Yeah, another side hustle. Another side hustle I'm trying to get into is renovations, but that's a different conversation. What else do you
Multi-talented.
Multi-talented. yeah. So I guess fun, chilling, very chilled.
All right. So we have a quick fire session.
Okay.
That's how we start like each episode at the very beginning. So I'm gonna ask you like 5 questions.
Yeah.
You'll have 2 options for both of them. So let's get it started. Money or time?
You gotta shoot.
Time.
Time.
Yeah.
Single or in a relationship?
Like at the moment, or what do I prefer?
Yeah.
Single. Oh, no, I'm single at the moment. Yeah.
Okay. What do you prefer?
Well, I don't know. It depends who I'm dating, or
It depends who you're dating.
Yeah,
so
like-
you could want to be in a relationship.
yeah. But if the person, then if the person is not popping anymore, then
Yes. Hey. Book or movie?
a book,
Okay. Twitter or Instagram?
Twitter.
All right.
Yes.
Heels or sneakers?
Heels. Although I'm wearing sneakers now, but heels. Yeah.
Okay. Interesting.
Well, guys, the reason why we have Lesedi on the show today is that we want to, you would have previously seen our Women in Corporate show. That's where we had Angela Mo, and she let us know about like the struggles and what women go through in corporate. But in particular today, we want to get an insight into you as a woman in IT in the corporate space. I think that is one of the spaces that we don't see a lot of females, especially not a lot of black females.
Yeah.
So I think I'd like our platform to just get a view of what that is like. How's it been for you personally? So maybe you can start with telling us, IT, what actually do you do? What is a developer? What do you actually do on a day-to-day, and what made you get into it? All of that.
Okay, well, I'll start with what made me get into it. I was drawn to a lot of male-dominated fields. Like I was either going to do engineering or IT.
Yeah.
Then I got into IT because I wasn't specifically sure. Like it just like nobody in my family knew much about it, and that's what interested me in it. And also I knew I couldn't take a gap year, so I was like, okay, this informatics thing sounds interesting. Yeah. And also I did IT in high school, and I didn't like the coding, but I liked the analytics and data, that part. And I said, informatics sounds like something nice. What I do now as a developer, I automate processes.
Okay, which means?
So, ish.
Yeah.
Without like giving too much away, but
Yes.
anything that would require somebody to like sit there and manually do work or whatever, I'll analyze, somebody will analyze that process, give it to me, and then we'll try to automate it as far as possible.
Okay.
So that, I don't know, you're an accountant, so I'm trying to think now.
Oh, chartered accountant.
Weird flex, but okay.
Okay, so for instance, like you don't want to like sit there and like try to find the financial year end result of this department, another department. So what I would do is that I would find it all for you, put it in there, then you just like analyze or whatever you do as a accountant.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the stuff I do. But obviously there's other developers that like build apps on your phones and yeah, that's not what I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then like in terms of just that, I think Kat also asked earlier, or touched on it before we started recording, the expectation of what that world would be like versus the reality of it for you in that space. What's that been like?
It's been not nice. But you know, there's a difference between getting a job and then you sold dreams in the interview, then you get there, it's like, this is not the job I wanted, it's not what it sounded like. But that's okay. But also just the dynamics in there where you feel like you'd get support or things like that. And you don't really get it the way you'd want to.
Yeah. But
Like,
is that the field itself or just the company that was just
I
not
think it's just the team.
Okay.
Yeah.
So so like when you started, how did you start? Were you like in an internship? Were you in an apprenticeship? Were you
I was in
a graduate program?
Yes.
And so forth.
I was in a graduate program. We were sold dreams. Then I saw that this team is not my team because I felt that I was very undermining that team. I wasn't really learning much. So I was like, how did you even put me in this team? So then I worked my way out of the team. And then I found a team that I really loved. I was doing analytics, loved it completely. And then, then I moved to automation afterwards.
Were you guys getting the same salary on your graduate program?
I mean, initially, yes. But as soon as we signed, like, definitely no.
You say that with so much vigor. It's like there was a huge difference.
No, well, I don't know how huge it was, but then you see the lifestyle change was.
Oh, yes.
People are signed on, now people are buying a certain kind of car, they're trading in. Then you know, this is a different tax bracket.
And this isn't like on the type of team they sign on to. What brings about those differences? So it's just like the people's personalities, they're able to negotiate things better.
Probably, you know what, we take for granted the power of negotiation, hey? But over and above that, I think it's the department that they were in.
Okay.
So now you're doomed if you're in a department that barely made money or whatever. And then, I don't know how to explain it, but I know for a fact, once we were signed, we were not all signed with the same monies.
Okay, but then how do you get around that? So now knowing that there is power negotiation, because that's another thing I think we don't openly talk about it being a factor in like salary packages and stuff like that. Especially from what I've seen, right? I've seen less women be more like, I don't know, demanding or like aggressive in these type of negotiations. Do you feel confident or that you are comfortable to be able to negotiate when it comes to like salary packages or discussions, where a man will be like, no, I think I'm entitled to X, where maybe you don't feel like you have the room to do that?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly it, where you just don't feel like you've been, they've been doing things that like, so you sort of don't feel like even the job you've been doing has been adding, much value, or like guys just oversell themselves really, and a woman is like the other way, I think. So even when it's time for negotiations, like I never even knew that you could negotiate a salary. It's just like one of those things like, this is your percentage, fine, sharp. Like over the years, like my third year now working, and I'm just like, okay, fine, you've given me this much, but then how do I get here? So they do give you work.
So they do give you trust and responsibility.
Well, now when I started, guys, like I was like, what was happening? So when I started working, like I still work with a lot of guys, but I think when I started working, like my first job, like I was working with like Indian men, like from India. So like first of all, there was like a language barrier, and they like, this new girl, straight from varsity, like what does she know? Like I was super undermined.
And I'd like to get, is it like an age thing, a gender thing, a race thing, or is it all in one? You felt all of that all in one.
All of that in one. And then, I mean, I proved myself as worthy because as soon as I left the team, they were like very worried. They're like, oh no, Lesedi, what. I'm like,
Okay. So you moved the team to leave the team itself or even the company as a whole?
no, I just left the team.
The team,
yeah.
okay.
And then later on, I moved companies.
Okay.
Yeah.
So how does it feel like, so in South Africa, there's employment equity and everything else happening. So how does, like sometimes as a black person, like you got hired because you're black or whatever.
Yeah.
Like you placed in that team, didn't have enough black individuals. That's how you ended up in that team. It's not that you were not great enough, right?
Yeah.
There was also a guy of another race who was possibly as good as you, or if not better, but they chose you because of your race. So how does it feel as a woman knowing that you got a particular role as a woman? Like, how does that make you feel? Like, do you feel like I have to prove myself, or do you feel sorry for yourself? What is it?
I definitely don't feel sorry for myself. Like, I appreciate that opportunity. And it would be very, I don't want to say ignorant of me, but very dumb of me not to appreciate that. I know that I get through the door because I'm a black woman, but I don't take it for granted. You know what I mean? But then I work harder because then people will make you feel as though you're only here because you're a black woman. Like, it's just like it's a blessing to them that I actually know how to do my job.
So, no, 100%,
In a way,
100%.
yeah.
So, like, how would you feel like, let's just say at work, you mess things up or whatever. Then, like, somebody was like, the only reason you're here is because you're a black woman.
I mean, it's happened
Like,
before to other people.
They
and
say
like,
that.
Yeah, and I've never had it before myself. But
Wow.
like, what?
That happened. Like someone
No,
said
it
that.
was even on the news on 702 where this lady was like, they proper said that you only have this job because you're a black female. You don't know fuck all.
Yeah.
You see?
But you see, that's another issue I have with like these empowerment things. I'm very pro like empowerment type of like moves in the workplace because transformation is an active thing, right? But I think the people that you want to be able to promote and transform your companies with, I think part of empowerment and transformation is actually equipping them. So if you want to like put say an equity employee in a team, actually teach them to be able to
And that's
be
the
capable.
thing. I think that's what because if I compare how I was when I was working to now, that's what I'm saying, like in the beginning I felt like I was not getting support, and that's the reality versus the
Yes.
expectation,
Okay.
right? Now I see, well, I don't know if it's just the company that I'm working in now where they're actively trying to say, okay, let's go to this training,
Yes.
let's take you here, but also I have to show up, you know what I mean?
They at least want to meet you halfway.
Yeah, meet you halfway. So I get that, but then like the problem is that sometimes people feel entitled and they're just like, yeah, well, I made a chair because I'm an equity employee, and they feel sorry for themselves. Like, you can feel sorry for yourself for a day. Afterwards, you need to show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And maybe that's what's also in some spaces is what's still lacking. And maybe
Exactly.
pushing.
And that's what I'm saying. I don't know if it's because of the company and the sort of team I'm in now, where I feel like I can show up and I'll get that support. Whereas when I started working, and I don't know if it's maybe a confidence thing of starting, working and realizing that I have to do things for myself because nobody's going to do it for me. That maybe changed the game. Because in IT, it's really male dominated, and they will make like those architects and those people will literally make you feel dumb with their jargon. Like you walk out of those meetings just like, God,
What just
how did I
happened?
make it there? Then you just have to say, you know what, I shouldn't make it here by chance. Like there was like probably like 100 other female black women that applied, and they chose you.
Still,
So
yeah.
show up.
So, as a black woman in corporate, or just as a woman in general in corporate, so there's this thing called pretty privilege. It was also trending.
Oh, really? It's
And-
trending?
Yeah. So it's that thing that like. So have you ever felt that you got hired as well because you look a certain way?
No, like physically. I mean, besides that, I'm a black female.
Yes.
And by law, we have to be hired or we get preference.
Yes.
Anything above that, no, I don't think so.
Okay. Do you
I
have friends
don't
that
think
have
so.
experienced that?
I have one. Yeah, I have one.
And what did that do to their self-esteem? Like,
I mean,
in terms of work self-esteem, like they know they're pretty, but now like, your confidence at work and everything else, cause
But then here's the thing: when she was hired, she didn't know that she was hired because she was pretty. Like she
Yeah,
thought she was
yeah,
hired because of her
yeah,
work, and I mean, she's good
yeah,
at it.
yeah.
So
It just helps that
it
she's
just
pretty too.
No, it doesn't help that she's pretty. No,
Yes.
it just happened.
It
that
just
she's
happened.
pretty.
Yeah, so you then then what I think it's being split. So her being pretty wasn't the reason she got in.
Yes, it it's just like a bonus.
So then we talk about teams. So I'm assuming there's a lot of like working in teams.
Yes,
and
a lot of
being
it.
male dominated in those spaces. So on the softer side, maybe it's things that are not work related. Do you ever feel like men at the workplace overstep in terms of how they relate to you?
All the time.
And like, how do you feel about? Because sometimes
All
I
the
think
time.
guys will be like, "I know it's just play. She gets it. Like she's one of us. It's like cool." And like, is there an experience you've had where people are just like, "Guys, stop it." Like,
Yes.
what happened?
I've experienced it where I mean, I know in IT a lot of the time you like work till late and there's deployments and you're coming in on Sundays and whatever. So now I guess people get used to you in a certain, because obviously when you're 9 to 5, you're like suit and tie and whatever. And then when you come in the weekend, you're more chilled, whatever. And I think that sort of vibe like makes, I don't know, you open up in a different way than you would on a normal basis.
I didn't know you look like this.
You're always used to the people, like you spend a lot of the time with them. So I feel like there's some comfort that they feel like, Lesedi is my homie or whatever. And then they want to start like hitting on you or like now take your number on the WhatsApp group and now they want to chat after work and things like that. And it's just like, you don't want to make it awkward and say, dude, hello.
Line.
Like, exactly. But, and then afterwards they'd like feel entitled to that car, but then we're chilling on Saturday. I was like, yeah, but we're working. Like, I'm very confused. Like, now you can't be friendly because they take your friendliness or something else.
Like?
So, I don't know. Like, you guys tell me, like, what's wrong with guys like now where you feel like, oh, we can be more than colleagues.
Cat's favorite parts.
So, like with the example you gave, right? It's so in terms of like weekdays you dress formally and weekends or whatever. It's the same thing. I think you see it every year, like with company year ends. The same type of thing where people identify that as the opportunity to
shoot
do
the shot.
something. Yeah, because now it's less
time.
formal.
We're
and
having drinks.
Yeah,
We're having drinks.
Yes.
It's nice.
And in some cases, it does happen. Like you'll find like Lesedi will be very more accommodative to my flirting at that particular, like, because it's a year-end function, like, okay, and whatever. So then the next day, then she switches it up, like, how? And then, like.
Are you saying women do give mixed signals and it's part of what? No, I'm asking Kat now. Because the issue is now, right, from a female perspective, very rightly so, you're saying that guys do get inappropriate. And to his point, are there times when mixed signals can be sent and then
mixed
causes
signals
confusion?
are sent. Yeah, it does. So here's the thing. So what happens, mixed signals occur in the sense that, when you're trying to be compassionate as well, and being kind and so forth. So I stress those terms very, very much. So what happens is you try to avoid hurting the person, but in actual sense, you're hurting them further because now they're thinking, it's best to be assertive. That's there.
But here's the thing, and I've experienced it where literally I was the only girl in my team, right?
Yeah.
And the people in my team immediately were fine.
Yeah.
But I was so used to just like chilling around guys that people outside of the team thought like, I don't know, like, let's say this, like, whatever.
Yeah.
And then somebody took my number off of WhatsApp and I told them, like, first of all, don't do that. Like if you're not going to talk to me about work, like WhatsApp or whatever, then how you're saying assertive, I felt that I was very assertive to say, Bona guy, unless you're talking to me about work, do not talk to me. But still, even at work, then it's like, oh, you're being snacks and now you're the angry black female and you're this and you're that. Now you get labeled, you know what I mean? So I don't really have a problem with the label, but then it's like,
they label you as the angry black female.
Yes, I was the angry, somebody literally, they never said you're angry black female, but they just said, they said you didn't have to be angry, like I'm just asking a question. I'm like, I'm answering the question.
And this is like a constant thing that even in the team you're in now, is that?
No, the team I'm in now
better?
is way better.
So it does sound like over the past 3 years, you have progressed. So
yes.
Holistically, over your short career, do you feel like, are you progressing in a way that you would have planned? Is the trajectory quite how you would have wanted it to be as a black woman in IT? I don't even know if that needs to be classified, but
no, I think it's just like woman in IT because there's a different struggle that both well, both black and white or other races, we like fighting the same battle here. But when I look at, like, I don't really like set out and plan like, oh, this is what I want for myself or whatever. Because like for me, I'm just like, this sounds interesting. Let me get into it. Or this sounds interesting. Ultimately, I'd like to be an automation specialist.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that what I'm in now will help me get there. But at the moment, it doesn't feel like it. But then again, I'm very new to the team.
Okay.
So yeah.
And next plans for yourself? You said you're going to do home renovations.
Yeah.
Okay.
What I like about my team now is the fact that I'm able to work from home.
Yes.
So I manage my time way better. So for like from 6 to 12, I wake
Don't
up.
snitch on yourself now.
No, I'm telling them
Yeah.
from 6 to 12, I'll work on my work stuff.
Okay.
And then from after that, then I'll do my own things.
Okay.
And I mean, the point is to deliver, right? So yeah, just working on my side hustles and building my IT acumen. Is that an English word?
We'll accept it today. All right,
But
thank
yeah.
you. I think
Thank you very much.
Thank
to
you.
breathe. It was nice to get a little bit more insights, because some things we don't know that it's what
Yeah.
females
All I'm
go through.
asking
Yeah.
as males, catch your L. If this woman is not interested, there's no mixed signals. She just doesn't like you.
There's no, there are mixed signals.
No.
Are you saying people don't give mixed signals?
She's saying catch the L.
catch
If
your
it
L.
happens,
Catch your
make
L.
peace with it.
And
Don't
move
fight for the
on.
mixed signal.
Yeah, because like I know what men do.
I hear you, but some men like that story of like you worked hard for the girl and girls like it, but it's fine. We'll leave it at that.
Not at all.
Guys, thank you so much for joining us on this show. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment on how the show has been.
Yeah.
Thank you, Lesedi.
Thank you for having
Join
me.
Lesedi on a new show, which we're going to be recording something about girl code. You guys have been looking forward to that. Comments.
Also, she talked about introducing herself about automation. So it sounds like they make manual process and to automate them. Sounds like they're responsible for people not having jobs. There's 4th Industrial Revolution episodes as well. Check that out.
Cheers.
Thank you.